Japaan Station is made possible in part by Patreon support. If you would like to make sure that I can keep bringing you more content like this, then head on over to japankyo.com/Patreon and sign up for as little as $1 a month.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Japaan Station.
Welcome to Japaan Station, a production of Japankyo.com. This is the podcast where we teach you everything you should know about Japan, plus a few other things. I'm your host, content creator, founder of Japankyo.com, and the anime linguist on YouTube, Tony R. Vega. Today, I've got another episode of my podcast focused on the Japanese language, Japanese plus Alpha. In case you're not aware, I was producing these episodes for my $3 a month plus Alpha Patreon supporters back around 2020 and 2021, maybe into 2022. It was quite a while ago. I'm not producing them at the moment, but you never know. I could always revive this. I really enjoyed doing these episodes, but it just takes time to do the research and all that. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I've got another episode of this, and actually, I'm going to record a new post-outro bonus segment because I want to update some things. So after you're done listening to the main part of the episode, it will switch over to that. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review. You can always email me, mail@japankyo.com if you have any questions or ideas for future episodes. Always appreciate it when people do that. Or if you have any funny Japan stories or something, you can always send those over. All right, let's get into the episode. From Japankyo.com, this is Japanese Plus Alpha, a podcast about the Japanese language and its various quirks. I'm Tony Vega, and today we're talking about death and money. Not taxes, money. But that's because we're talking about the word okuribito.
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 So, okuribito, it's a very interesting word, and it has two very different meanings. So the first meaning is mortician, or something along those lines. The second meaning is millionaire, as in a person that has a lot of money. So how the heck do you end up with these two very different meanings for this one word? Well, let's begin with the first meaning, and then we'll make our way to the millionaire meaning, okay? So if you're into Japanese movies, then there's a good chance that you've heard the word okuribito because it's the title of a very well-known 2008 film, which in English is called Departures. So this Japanese film ended up winning the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 2009. So, of course, that is the 2009 award show for the 2008 year of movies. And of course, it won a whole bunch of other awards. And I was in Japan at the time. It was a huge deal. I remember seeing it on Japanese TV and whatnot, and you know, just people talking about it. I actually never got around to watching it until last night, and I watched it specifically because I was going to be talking about this. I do recommend it. The movie is basically about this cellist who loses his job as a cellist, and then due to financial difficulties, he ends up having to go back to his rural home. His mother has passed away, so it's an empty house. Him and his wife live there. They start over, and he kind of gets tricked into becoming a mortician, in the Japanese style mortician, because that comes with its own like rituals and traditions. And it's, like I said, I recommend it. Go check it out if you haven't yet. So, okuribito basically means this kind of Japanese style mortician. Let's break this word down. Bito comes from hito, which means person, and okuri comes from okuru, the verb okuru, which can be used to, basically it means send, right? So you can send a letter, tegami o okuru, you can send an email, you can send your mom apples and oranges, right? You can use this word for sending physical items, but you can also use it to, for example, like send off somebody or see off somebody. So if you see off your girlfriend at the airport as she leaves to visit France or something, right? Like, or you can see off some sailors at the dock, or you can send off your friend to the train station or something, right? Like, you can use it in that sort of way. So if you translate okuribito, literally, you end up with send off person. And of course, that's not a very good English title, so they had to change it to departures, but it's not a literal translation, right? It's a very figurative translation, and fine, that works. But, you are losing some of the imagery, some of the meaning, I think, by doing that. And that's just unavoidable. You can't always translate things literally, right? But anyway, a more accurate translation that is a bit more natural, not send off person, of okuribito would be the person that sends off the deceased, right? And that's not a good catchy movie title in English. So you understand why they had to change it to departures. But anyway, of course, so Okuribito, that is basically a reference to the protagonist of the movie who ends up becoming a mortician, right? He sends off the deceased, he prepares them for cremation, etc., their final rituals, so to speak. As for that word, I assume that this is a kind of niche word that is used within the industry and maybe within those people that deal with this industry, perhaps when a loved one passes away. I don't know if this word was widely used before the movie came out, but certainly after the movie came out, it became a very, very well-known word. So how do we go from mortician to millionaire? Well, I don't know exactly how we made that transition, but this other meaning of okuribito is basically a pun, right? It's a play off this word okuribito. It probably popped up after the movie came out because, well, the movie was just so popular. But again, maybe it was around before then. I don't know exactly when this word started being used. I did find an article about this, but it didn't say. So what exactly does this other okuribito mean? So it doesn't just mean millionaire. It means a millionaire who became a millionaire by investing in stocks and cryptocurrency. So if you built a very successful business and you became a millionaire, you are not an okuribito because, again, this is only for investing type millionaires, right? People that bought, I don't know, Tesla stock and Bitcoin and made a whole bunch of money. And now they have millions and millions of the equivalent of dollars, right? So this is a word that seems to have been popularized once Bitcoin really started blowing up in price, because that produced a whole bunch of new millionaires, of new 100 million heirs, 100 million yenaires, I guess you would say, right? Because in yen, it's 100 million yen. So why is this? Well, because 100 million is ichi oku. Oku, all right? So an oku is 100 million. So ni oku is 200 million. San oku is 300 million. Go oku would be 500 million, etc., etc., etc. So again, it's a pun. So okuribito. So bito, again, person, right? Ri is just because, well, the original word that this is playing off has that ri there. And then oku means 100 million. So you use the kanji to write it, 100 million. Whereas the original okuribito, I've only seen it written with hiragana. So they switch out that oku in hiragana for the oku kanji, and they end up with this new word, which is okuribito. And as far as I know, this word was used before Bitcoin really rose to prominence, but it really took off. This usage of this word really took off after the cryptocurrency markets really exploded in the mid 2010s, perhaps 2017, although there was a Bitcoin bull run in 2013. So I'm not sure when this word really blew up, because again, the movie came out in 2008. So it could have been 2013, could have been 2017 when this other okuribito, the millionaire okuribito, really rose to prominence. So there you go. I will talk a little bit more about cryptocurrency and Japanese words for cryptocurrency in the post-outro segment. And I think that's it. Yeah. Well, actually, let me just mention this really quickly, because there might be some of you out there that are not aware of the exchange rate between the yen and the dollar. So roughly 100 yen is usually about $1. And that's why 100 million yen is about $1 million. And thus okuribito, again, remember, oku means 100 million. So that's why okuribito is roughly the equivalent of a millionaire. All right. So just wanted to clear that up for any of you that haven't looked at the exchange rate lately. But thank you for listening. And see you next time on Japanese Plus Alpha. All right, so here's a few updates. So I just looked online and I found a couple articles that say, yeah, the okuribito, that means millionaire, roughly speaking, did come from the movie Okuribito, the movie that has the title that means something like Mortician or whatever. So that's what the articles are claiming. It makes total sense to me and seems pretty much confirmed. I don't know if there's a specific individual that popularized this, but whatever the case, it seems that, yeah, it's basically a pun on the title of the movie. Another thing that I should mention is that currently, the Japanese yen to dollar exchange rate is, well, horrible for the yen. So at the end of the episode, I mentioned that it was roughly around 100 yen to a dollar. Well, that is no longer the case. So as of today, late December 2025, the yen is, well, $1 gets you 157 yen. So it's plummeted. It's really bad right now. And that means that an okuribito is no longer a millionaire in dollars. I guess you got to be like a okuribito and a half or something to be a millionaire in US dollars. Well, actually, you got to be 1.57 of an okuribito in order to be a millionaire in US dollars. So, the hurdle has certainly increased. Also, I just found a couple of articles published in 2025 that use the word okuribito. So, and that's the millionaire meaning, right? Or the former millionaire meaning. So that tells me that the word is still in popular consciousness, but it's not like I see it used on social media all that often. Well, I don't remember seeing it used at all. So, and I don't remember hearing it in media. Whereas back in the day, like, back around the 2020s or like early, 2020, I think I was hearing it more. And so probably that's why I decided to do this episode. So I think, well, it's also an economic situation thing. I think there's a lot less okuribito being made right now. But also maybe the word is just not as popular as it was, not really trendy. I don't know if using this will get you weird looks, but it's not like you're using like 80s era slang or something like that. People still will understand this. And then as for the crypto words, I'm just going to throw out a few crypto related words. Ango tsuka is, I think, nowadays the most common way to refer to cryptocurrency. It literally means the exact same thing. Ango comes from code, like crypto, right? Cryptography. And then tsuka is currency. Also, kaso tsuka, that also means cryptocurrency, although that means virtual currency in a literal sense, right? Kaso, virtual in this sense. And that is the word that was used more frequently up until maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Little by little, ango tsuka has become the more commonly used word. At least that's the impression that I get. Another more general term for crypto assets, literally means crypto assets. It's ango shisan. So ango, again, crypto, and then shisan is assets. Now, there's a ton of other vocabulary used when talking about, well, not just crypto, but investing. And a lot of it is katakana words that are just taken directly from English. So when you're starting to learn about these kinds of words and talking about investing in Japanese, it can be a little tricky. It can be a little difficult to understand everything because, well, a lot of the words just are not even Japanese, and even the Japanese words are rather obscure if you're not used to talking about that kind of stuff. So, it takes a little while to get used to. I do talk about this stuff in Japanese. I do consume some investment-related content, but if you are interested in learning this kind of stuff, I highly recommend consuming some of this content and then coming up with vocabulary lists, like just write up your lists. And if you do this and you stick to it, you'll notice really quickly that it's always the same words that come up, and you'll learn it and you'll be good. Now, if you don't have a background in investing and you don't understand some of the stuff that comes up, like the topics themselves, well, that's a whole other issue. So you need to have somewhat of an understanding already, and then you can learn the corresponding words. But again, it's not that complicated. Just like anything, you just gotta study a little bit, and then it starts to stick in your head, and then you're good. But that is a whole other topic. That does it for this episode. I should be back next month with another episode of Japanese Plus Alpha. See you then.